Hello and welcome to Beyond the Corporate Hangover with me, Emily Derschler. If you are a woman in your 30s or beyond and have left a lengthy spell in corporate to set up an online business and are feeling stuck, I'm here to help. In this podcast, we'll be digging into what it takes to go from employee to entrepreneur and build an amazing business that showcases your unique expertise. We'll look at the challenges women face, those limiting beliefs and behaviours from our corporate life that keep holding us back, and I'll provide practical ways to help you move forwards as a confident business owner. So if you are feeling overwhelmed, worried, or confused about how to make your business a success, and you want to shake off the corporate hangover, tune in every fortnight. Are you ready? Let's go. Hello and welcome to episode 11 of Beyond the Corporate Hangover. Now today I thought I would really dig into what the corporate hangover actually is. Now you may be thinking, why didn't you do this in episode 1? And the reason for that is that I wanted to introduce it in a way that was playful, that was very relatable, before really getting under the skin of the corporate hangover. Now, that is not to say that this episode is going to be dull. Far from it. It's going to be just as exciting as all the other episodes, if not more so. Who knows? But that's the plan for today. So I hope that by kind of going a little bit deeper into this concept, that it really starts to resonate. You might recognize yourself in some of the examples that I give as we go through this episode as well. So let's dive in. And I'm going to start with a definition of what the corporate hangover is. Now, most of us are aware of what a real hangover feels like. And on an emotional level, it can be quite confusing, quite discombobulating. Love that word. Use it a lot. It can make you feel quite uncomfortable and perhaps a little bit regretful of what's gone before. We're not going to go down that road. But it's something that hangs around unwelcome. And the corporate hangover is very similar to that. It's the lingering after effects of something that has come before. So it's all the habits, beliefs, expectations, behaviours, and rules that helped you to succeed in your corporate life. But now that you've left that life, they could actually be holding you back and even working against you as you start to build your own business. It's also that sense of waking up in the morning and feeling like you really should be excited about what comes next. You're building your business. This is very exciting, but also finding that your brain is still stuck in employee mode and you have one metaphorical foot still in your old workplace. So that's what the corporate hangover is. And there are 6 dimensions of it, which are based on the most recurring areas of concern that I've identified through the research that I've done. Firstly, identity. Who even am I now that I've left corporate? Judgment. Can I trust myself to make decisions? Worth. How do I know I'm doing or being enough? Visibility. Am I willing to be seen? Ownership. Can I lead myself and my business? An expression. Can I say what I think, feel, and need without making myself feel smaller? It's these dimensions that we need to explore, along with the many symptoms that lurk within them. Some of which can be kept, others need to be discarded, and others will need to be reframed to fit the context that you're in now. To look at this more broadly, when we're very young, we are sponges. We absorb everything that goes on around us. And all the things that we experience form our worldview. And all that we go on to feel in our lifetimes is all seen through that lens. Now, those people who are the most open, the most receptive and curious are typically the ones who can embrace different worldviews and accept that other views aren't wrong, they're just different. The person opposite them has grown up in a different context with different learning and different experiences. It doesn't make their viewpoint or their ideas or their opinions any less valid. Now, it can be pretty unsettling when we experience a new culture if we are so embedded in our own. We don't know what to do, what to say, how to behave. We don't know what the rules are. But when we open ourselves up to new experiences and different ways of doing things, the impact can be really profound. The same is true in business. So when we spend a long time in one business environment, we become part of that environment and part of that culture. Corporate in itself is a culture with many, many nuances within it. But we learn to be a successful employee. We learn how it all works. We learn what professional looks like. We learn what's expected of us. We learn the processes, the hierarchy, all the other rules, some of which are written and some of which are not. And in addition to the rules, expectations, etc. of the company itself, we also absorb the attitudes and behaviours of the people around us. Now, many women are deeply affected by the way they're treated and the labels they're given. It's still happening in this day and age. We get called emotional, premenstrual or menopausal, stroppy, etc. Now, we learn from those experiences too. Even though we know that's not the case, those comments don't leave us. We learn how much emotion is acceptable in this space. We learn how directly we can speak, whether it's safe to offer an opinion or disagree, how much space we can occupy in a room, and whether we need to soften what we say through hedging or apologizing or qualifying our views in order to be accepted. So we adapt to the environment around us, and often without even realizing we're doing it. So when that environment goes, all that we've learnt stays because it's what we know. It's what has become a part of who we are, either consciously or subconsciously. And it doesn't always translate from one context to the next. The symptoms are many. However, they can potentially, to give a few examples, show up in things like perfectionism, people-pleasing, over-delivering, guilt, hypervigilance, overthinking, busyness, comparison, delaying, permission-seeking, fear, avoidance. Oh my gosh, the list goes on and on. So shaking off the corporate hangover is about identifying these behaviours, recognizing the short and long-term cost of not addressing them, and getting to the heart of what is behind that behaviour. What underlying corporate rule may still be hanging around and very subtly influencing your business activities and decisions. Because the behaviour is what we see. The rule is the assumption that makes that behaviour feel necessary. Let's go back to school for a moment. Do you remember you're sitting at your desk and you always put your hand up before you spoke? That was an expectation. It was a rule of the school, and it was something a pupil physically did. Underneath that action is the rule, the unwritten rule, that permission comes before contribution. And we just learned that. That was the expectation. We just got on and did it. Now, in a corporate example, let's say important decisions need to be approved by a senior manager. That's the expectation. That is the rule. That is what is right in that environment. Now, the employee may then internalize that rule as my decisions need to be validated. The behavior in the corporate world is getting the decision checked, getting the work signed off, following the process. In that context, it's fine. It's exactly what you're supposed to do. But as a business owner, the same internalized rule may translate differently. It may translate into asking several people for their thoughts before making a decision. And what happens as a consequence? In the corporate world, all good. As a business owner, however, it can lead to slower decision making and also have a detrimental impact on our self-judgment, on our trust in ourselves. Because what if multiple people offer multiple perspectives? What are you going to do with that information? Is it even helpful? Are you looking for actual information, validation, and evidence before you make a decision? Or are you actually looking for a reason to delay taking that action? Now, there are lots of other examples of this tipping point effect, where something that served us well in our corporate life can tip over into something less helpful in our business ownership life. For example, high standards can become perfectionism. Collaboration becomes permission seeking. Reliability becomes constant availability. Risk management, big one in corporate, becomes avoidance, not so helpful as a business owner. And constant achievement becomes the relentless need to prove yourself. Now, not all of these will be present for everyone. And having spent time in corporate does not automatically mean that you will experience all or even any of these. However, the thoughts and behaviors that we demonstrate as business owners, especially those that keep us stuck, slowed down, keep us waiting or frustrated, they may be linked to the corporate hangover. So when we think of practical concerns such as, I don't know what to charge, or I'm struggling to find clients, alongside the emotional challenges of, I don't feel ready, I feel like a fraud, what if people criticize me, I don't know how to do this, or one that comes up a lot, why does this feel so hard? There may be a rule at play which is underpinning the thought process and that associated behavior. And that's why it's incredibly useful to look beneath the surface, beneath that surface problem that's presenting itself, rather than trying to stick a band-aid on that behavior and hoping that it'll fix itself. It quite probably won't. So that is the corporate hangover. And to finish, I just want to clarify what the corporate hangover is not, because this is really important too. So firstly, it is not an attack on corporate life. You will have learned so much. You will have so much knowledge, so many skills, so much experience. These are all enormous assets and give us incredibly valuable insights that will help us develop our strengths in business. It's also not a diagnosis of anything. It's a lens through which we can start to view things differently. It's not the explanation for every business problem. you will need practical solutions to practical problems. This becomes useful when an inherited way of thinking is affecting how you approach that problem. It is not a lack of confidence. This gets bandied around a lot. It is so much more than that. And it is not about being reckless. Yes, business ownership will require you to take risks. It will require courage to make important decisions because you're doing them by yourself now without the safety net of a team behind you. But the judgment you use will still include your expertise, evidence, and a certain amount of risk management. See, the aim is to recognize when careful thinking has tipped over into something that prevents you from taking action. And finally, it is not therapy. With coaching, we explore assumptions, learned working patterns, and those rules, while still staying focused on present day business behavior, your choices, and your actions. So ultimately, the corporate hangover is about becoming more intentional. It's about recognition, and it's about changing and reframing what needs to be changed and reframed so that you can go on and develop an amazing business, which is what I want for you. So you can ask yourself, what still serves me? What do I need to leave behind? And what should I adjust or adapt to make myself a better business owner in whatever sense that looks like? So I really hope that helps to clarify what the corporate hangover is. You may have seen or felt some evidence of yourself in there. And if you have, that's great, because it means that you can start the process of self-analysis a little bit. And everything that I do is underpinned by this corporate hangover concept. I truly believe in it, and I truly believe in the power of shaking it off. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I really welcome your comments, your feedback. If you have any thoughts, do leave a comment, or you can email me. You can get in touch via social media, whatever works for you. I would love to hear from you. So tell me what's resonated for you from this episode. And yeah, I will look forward to seeing you again next time. So for now, take care. See you soon.